Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Burns Reviews. My name is John, and today we are talking about Promising Young Woman starring Carey Mulligan, a dark comedy about a woman who had been previously scorned a couple of years back, and now she seeks out revenge against the men and women that she feels have wronged her. This is very much a black comedy revenge story that doesn't really do exactly what you think it's going to do. There's a lot of twists and turns that you don't see coming. It is a clever script, it is dark, it is wicked, it's kind of like a sharp piece of candy. Carey Mulligan turns in one of the best performances that I've ever seen her turn in. I thought she was great in Drive, even in The Great Gatsby, I thought she was fantastic. But this is a game changer. I've never seen her ascend to this kind of level. This kind of reminded me of perhaps Jake Gyllenhaal when he did Nightcrawler. It was, not that they're the same type of character, but it was transformative, and I've never seen Carey Mulligan do something like this. She has to portray a character that is essentially 2 or 3 layers deep, and you have to convey that to the audience without being too obvious. You know, she has to pretend to be very friendly and nice on the surface, but at the same time be tortured and wronged beneath that surface. And you have to convey it, and it has to be convincing. So if you see her at Oscar night, you know, winning an Academy Award or a Globe or something like that, do not be surprised. I think this is going to be the sleeper for this character, because despite the movie being decent, the acting from Carey Mulligan is phenomenal. She is electric in this role. We also got some great cameo parts from a lot of actors you might know. Alfred Molina is in there, Connie Britton, Molly Shannon, McLovin, Seth Cohen. They're all in there. Again, they're not their real names, but it's how we know them. They invert what you know of them in a typical role, and they invert it. And long story short, guys, there are a lot of terrible characters in this movie. Some of them get what they have coming, some of them not at all. And I think that's the point of this movie, is that justice is not really a thing in reality. You know, I think it's a thing that we see in the movies, and we kind of assume that eventually karma will find its way to people that deserve it, but this movie kind of puts a light on how that's not really the case. It's definitely a commentary on how people can get away with things, and if they're not careful, things can come back to haunt them. I thought this movie was clever, witty. It kind of felt like a piece of candy. You know, it was glossy and sharp. I would highly recommend it. There's one scene in particular that a lot of people have been saying that they don't like, and that's the scene that's like the rom-com scene that people are like, oh, they're singing Paris Hilton, I don't like it. Did we watch the same movie? Because this is my take on it. I think what they're doing is inverting the rom-com trope. Because in a rom-com, you have a couple, they're together, everything's going well, and then because the movie has to movie, they have a fight, they break up, they go to their separate corners, we have a sad montage of them looking out a window, or being sad, what have you, and then what happens? That leads to our third act. They get back together, and maybe they stay together, or maybe they don't. The point being is that every rom-com seems to have that. This movie is the inversion of that, because the character of Cassie is so beaten down, so traumatized, so scorned, so wronged, that she's already stuck in that sad montage when we meet her. So when we get to her montage right before the third act, it's a happy one, because it's an inversion of what we are usually expecting. You know, she can't have a sad montage. She's already sad. What she can have is a small moment of happiness, you know, with a different character in the movie. But even then, much like the sad montage that you see in every rom-com, you know it's short-lived. You know that shoe is going to drop. You know the story is going to pick up where we left off and go back to what we were doing. And I thought that was pretty brilliant when you stop to think about it. As far as negatives, guys, I had a really hard time finding anything. I know people don't really like the last 10 minutes of this movie, and I can't really talk about it here because, you know, I got a thing in the press kit that said, you know, it was really cute actually. It was written by the character herself, saying, do not spoil the ending of this movie because, you know, revenge is best when you don't see it coming, something like that. I thought it was really clever. Kind of reminded me of like Alfred Hitchcock when he did Psycho. He bought up all the books. He wouldn't let people come in if they were late, and he told people not to spoil the ending. So I thought it was a really cool Hitchcock kind of move. So I can't really say much. Again, we might talk about it later on Christmas Day or the day after when the movie comes out on VOD. Then we can talk about it, spoil it all we want, but until then, I'm not going to say it. Mum's the word. I understood the ending. I could say that. I understood it. They took a bold choice, and I can appreciate what they did. Was it frustrating in a lot of ways? Yeah, but I think that's supposed to be the point. It is both a happy ending and a sad ending and a dark ending on different levels that are being played out. So, not to be elusive, but I kind of have to be. It's fine. It's not great. It's not fantastic, but it's clever and I can appreciate it, and it's good. I think it's a small nitpick. It had some great humor to it as well. There's one scene in particular that made me laugh pretty hard. But yeah, overall, guys, I think Carey Mulligan is going to pick up all kinds of awards for this movie. I think it's going to be a movie that people are going to talk about, the ending, as well as the different elements in this movie. It's kind of like a social commentary movie. People are going to be discussing that. I honestly couldn't find anything wrong with it. So, the few things I didn't like are kind of like a nitpicky thing that I guess is like a creative choice that maybe I would have done differently, but that's just because, I didn't make the movie. But I can appreciate what they did, and I could highly recommend it because the whole movie, I could not look away. I was so engrossed in this movie. I just wanted more. I couldn't wait to get to the next scene. I couldn't wait to try to unravel this mystery box. It was a lot of fun, and it was kind of dark, and that's just my speed. I thought it was great, which is why I'm going to give Promising Young Woman an A. So, anyway, guys, what did you think of Promising Young Woman? Are you planning on checking it out? Be sure to comment down below in the comment section, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We just hit 3,000 subs, and guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been John. You've been Burned. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.